It definitely sounds like a voice, an otherworldly voice, some woman singing in the forest or something, you know. Sometimes it definitely has that vocal sound.
Like, you know, the spacey flying saucer, you know, aliens are coming to attack our planet.
I had heard of the theremin, but I definitely had never seen one in real life. And I'd never seen anybody play one in real life either.
You know, I think I tried to figure out what it was because of science fiction movies. You know, like what does make that sound?
What's just really fun is to be able to play without touching anything, and just, you really kind of have to concentrate to hit those pitches, and it's not very easy, so it's always a challenge.
The thing about music for me, I mean, it has to be physical as much as possible, and theremin is definitely physical.
There are two antennas, the vertical antenna and then there's one on the side. And the closer you put your hand to the vertical antenna, the higher the pitch gets. Now I'm not in this antenna's field at all, but you'll be able to tell as I put my hand closer. So that's the pitch antenna, and that controls how high the note is. And then, if I've got a constant note, this is what controls the volume. In this amount of motion of your hand, you want to get an octave in there. So what you do is you start and get your hand on a C, and then put your hand out here, and if you don't hear an octave of a C, you turn the knob until it is. And then you have some control over the increments.
Very challenging. More challenging than anything else I have in the studio, for sure. My main project is Sergeant Sawtooth, and that is essentially everything I do on my own. Any writing that utilizes the equipment in the studio, with or without vocals, and just kind of things that I record by myself. And so this is my studio. I've got some vintage synthesizers and some newer stuff, and also a theremin. Because the theremin is the first electronic instrument, it's associated, at least in my mind, with science fiction, maybe older movies, even horror movies.
A lot of people like the sort of spacey, you know, in the Beach Boys song, there's one, the woo, but I don't do that very often. I actually like to play melodies and try to make it sound like a voice singing. Polyvinyl is the character I created who performs on the theremin. It's really fun to get dressed up and go out in public and play. On the other hand, another thing is I try to limit people's exposure to it because I don't want them to get sick of it or just, you know, too much theremin. In fact, my cat and my dog would like to see a lot less theremin around the house.
I get the feeling that it's maybe somebody else's impression of playing a guitar, how they feel when playing it, connecting with an instrument. So that's the feeling it gives me anyway.
It's like having a voice that has a lot of range and can sing a lot better than I can.